All right. Well, again, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. We hope that you're good, you're having a good time, you're staying safe, and things are good. Well, this again is, as always, an important plus very exciting opportunity for us to connect with people who are trying to see if this is the program for them. But I welcome you all to this information session for the Business Analytics Flex and Online program. The agenda for this next 1 hour is very simple. We'll go through a few slides, we'll give you some information about the program, but the most important piece of this information session is your questions. So please, we will spend a significant amount of time on your questions. What I'll do is I'll take you through some of the aspects of the program that you may already know from attending other info sessions that we have done or through browsing our website. But if you're brand new to this and you've never heard about our program, anything other than just the name, well, you're at the right spot. We will talk about things, and the best way that we have found that questions work is if you put them in the chat, we are able to pick up all the questions and we go through each and every question. So don't worry about that. Just put it in the chat once and we'll take care of it. If there is a follow-up question, you can keep doing that. We do see that there is a volume of questions that comes in, so we just want to make sure we don't miss out on anybody who may have a question. So please use the chat for your questions and we will take that up in about 20 minutes from now. But to just get us started here, a very basic question that anybody would want to answer. Why business analytics? There are so many different programs out there, so many universities that have programs. I mean, it sometimes gets very confusing. Which is the right program for me? The world talks about all sorts of things. You talk about AI, cybersecurity, analytics, data, software development, this, that, whatnot. And it does create a confusion. So what we'll do today is we'll look at why do we really need business analytics, first of all. Okay, let's not talk about UTD for a moment. Let's just talk about BA. And to really answer that question, I'll have to take you back several decades because we need to understand from where it started. Now, if I ask you what is the most important thing that happened, or one of the most exciting thing in terms of technology in the 70s, you might think of the computers, the personal computers. PCs entered our homes. And they entered our homes because, there are some pioneers who thought that why should they just stay with big corporations or government agencies? This is something that is there for everybody in the future. So PCs started happening. When computers started getting into our homes, into small and medium enterprises, there was a lot of software development that happened. People were writing programs. And the one and only need for a program, apart from ease and access and this and that, one of the most important reasons why programs are written is because you need to manage data. So it always has been about data. It always has been about something related to data. Now the 70s was more about those computing devices and new programs were being written, new softwares were introduced. If you think about the databases and all that you see, if you have had any chance of using them, they all started in the 70s. The next couple of decades was about fine-tuning the technology. Okay, we have a software, but how do we use a better software and stuff like that. But then all this while we are collecting data, we are sitting on heaps of data, and these heaps are only getting bigger. And that's when the question came out is what do we do with them? Now, when a question of that sort comes in, it's sometimes very difficult to answer that what exactly is the need of all this humongous amount of information that's in front of us. And that's where the leaders, they started looking through historical trends. They said, okay, this is not made up data, this is real things. This is real data, we can use this, we can try to figure out what the different patterns were, trends were, so that if we have the ability to predict what tomorrow looks like, we are in a good spot. Nobody wants to do or commit a mistake that they have already committed. They want to maximize on the profits. So that's where they started looking at data that way. Now, whenever a need of that sort arises, you get trainers, you try to train your people to speak the language of data, but the speed at which this need was increasing was nowhere close to the speed at which people were getting trained or even trained the right way. And that's when industry looked at its strongest friend, academia. So I would not say that this is a major program that has been in the market for too long. The first program came out in around 2007. So 16 years ago, the first time somebody talked about a major around business analytics. So what you're looking at is pretty much new, cutting edge, and is evolving so rapidly that we sometimes feel, I mean, it's interesting and fascinating to see that sometimes we cannot teach our students stuff going back 3 or 4 years because this is so new. This may have just come up in the last 2 or 3 years, certain concepts. So talking about that, why we need analytics is because there is a lot of data out there and people want to make the right decisions. Companies want professionals that can look at data and make decisions based on that rather than just their hunches. Now, the other thing is the nature of our work has become very digital. Our products and services are very digital. So what it means is that whether you're talking about the financial sectors or real estate or healthcare or any other place that you may have not associated with computers, there is computers. And when there are computers, there are programs. When there are programs, there is data. And when there is data, there is a need for somebody like you to go out, speak that language, understand what's going on, help with insights so that good decisions are made. Good decisions is not a matter of chance. Good decisions are a matter of an exercise that requires analysis, provisioning, modeling, optimization of those models to finally get insights that nobody could look at. Now, there is a good-bad situation here. The bad part is there is a dearth of qualified professionals, and the underlining word here is qualified. Just because you know some bit about data doesn't make you a solid analytics professional. There's a lot of training that goes behind it. So there is a dearth of those qualified professionals. The good thing is if you're thinking of this program right now, you are still on the early side of the curve in which the world would have more and more people that can understand the language of data. So you are doing this at the right time is what our benefit, I would say, a plus here is in terms of our timing. For us, our program has multiple guiding themes. Number one is flexibility. We are flexible because we want you to choose the courses you want to take. We want you to tailor your program experience. We want you to decide when should you take a class. Should you take it in person, online? Should you take it in the afternoon, evening, late evening? Those kind of answers you will decide. How many courses should you take? In what order you should take? We have made it open to you for you to decide because at the end of the day, this is a program that's helping you skill for your future. So when it's all about you, why not give you also the ability to decide what you want to do, how you want to engage with, professionals through extracurricular activities. All that is open to you. We will be there. We'll support it. We'll provide you the resources, but we'll let you make those decisions. An example is we have 10 tracks from which you can pick your electives. There's 74 unique courses out there from which you'll have to pick 6. Isn't that great that just for 6 you have so many choices? It can get confusing, and that's where we step in. We step in to guide you. We help you understand what you really want to do and let you make that choice in a better way. We are very keen on engagement. We believe that if you are shaping your personality, you really, really need to be engaged. Inside the class, outside the class, through events, competitions, hackathons, presentations, job fairs, career fairs, whatever it is, that engagement is needed. It is staple to your development, and we want to provide you with those opportunities. We're very focused on outcomes. So if there is anything that's going on, we will measure it. We will see, did we do well? Is there any changes required? Whether it is our curriculum, it is our events, it is our strategies. We constantly look at things because we want to make sure that you are getting the best experience, but at the same time, whatever you came to UTD for, we get you close to that as well. As I mentioned, we have 10 different tracks. So this program is for 36 credits. Half of them are core classes, and then the other half is electives. And you can pick and choose courses for one track, all electives, or you can mix and match between multiple electives, tracks. It's up to you how you want to do it. It's a STEM designated program, which means if you If your employer is looking for STEM designated professionals, there you go, STEM professionals. If you're an international student, you have the benefit of an extended OPT period. On top of your first year OPT, you get 2 more years because of the STEM designation. We have admissions in all 3 cycles: fall, which is in August, spring, which is in January, and then summer, which is May of the year. Some fun facts about us. We are the largest in the country, the largest graduate analytics in-person program in the country. And despite our size, our average starting salary is still around $100,000. I would say with each year of experience that you bring into the program, you add $10,000 more. That's what we have seen in terms of average. We have partnerships with dozens of companies. And when I say partnership, it's not just like we are on a high-hello basis. We are working intensively on projects. They're coming as judges. They're recruiting our students. They're serving on our advisory boards. They're mentoring our students. I mean, these companies, and these are Fortune 500 companies. Dallas is a great place, blessed with 22 headquarters of the Fortune 500 companies. So we have lots of companies, lots of domains in which you can work. Now, the East Coast is mostly financial firms. The West Coast is mostly tech. Dallas is that melting pot. It has all industries. So you really don't have to move out of Dallas or even Texas in case you're pursuing a degree, any kind of job or internship, because there are so many opportunities here. We are high on the return on investment as an institution. So UT Dallas is ranked #1 in the state of Texas in terms of the ROI. But within UT Dallas, the business analytics program is right on the top when it comes to the return on investment. Just to give an example, if let's say you take a loan and your financial firm will give you about 7 to 20 years to pay it back. Most of our students are paying back in 2.5, 3.5 years. It's not that they are uncomfortable, they're hand to mouth, they're not. They're earning handsome packages, they're able to support their families, they're able to pay back, and they're able to live a comfortable life as well. In terms of internships, we see more than 600-700 internships every year that our students pursue in more than 500 companies. And the average pay is about $30. Now, what we have seen is that there is a relationship between the intern pay as well as the full-time pay. If you're an intern and you're paid $1, you're paid $2 for a full-time job in almost the same role. So we see that this ratio, the $30 an hour that we see, is kind of in line with what our students are getting post-graduation. So $30 is about $60,000 annually as an intern. And our full-timers are getting more than $100,000. So that tells you that we are in sync with what the industry standards are and are kind of occupying the top bracket in terms of pay. We do have 3 different formats of the business analytics program. So the one we are talking about right now is the Flex program, has 10 tracks. Most of the classes are face-to-face. We have about 20% of them online. It's self-paced. You decide how you want to do it. The quickest you can do this program is 1 year. The max time that you get for any master's degree at UTD is 6 years. Nobody takes 6 years. I would say students who are doing this full-time take 1.5 to 2 years to complete it. And if you're a working professional and doing this part-time, you might add another semester. What we see is working professionals generally, they start out slow, but then as they're getting close to their graduation, they start stacking up their courses. This is state funded, the Flex program, which means as the credit hours go up in a semester, you take more credits, your per credit hour goes down. Which also means that we have a tuition cap at 12 credits. You can take up to 18 in a semester, not recommended, but you can if you want to. Anything beyond 12 credits, there is no tuition associated with it. So that's the benefit of having being in a Flex program, a state-funded program. If you become a TA and you are out-of-state resident, you get in-state residency with the Flex program. We have 2 other flavors of it. Cohort, which has 2 of the 10 tracks, data science and accounting analytics. Flex also has those tracks, but Cohort, we kind of created a special version for students who wanted just that special experience around accounting, analytics, and data science. And then the 100% online program, which is focused on data engineering and data science. GRE and GMAT waivers are available and scholarships are available. Let's talk about that as we talk about what the scholarship or the application requirements are. So the link to our application page, As I said, we do need a GRE or GMAT, but if you want to go for a waiver, you need to submit your application and then email jsomgradvising@utdallas.edu to ask for a waiver. What we'll do is we'll look at your undergrad transcript. We'll see that, okay, if you were supposed to sit for a GRE or a GMAT, how would you do? So we try to map your ability, your academic ability, to your potential performance. And then based on that, we'll either grant you a waiver or we'll tell you that, we could not grant it. At that time, you'll be asked to submit a score. We need transcripts. If you have official, great. If you don't have the official ones and just scan copies, send that. We do look at unofficial transcripts for our decision purposes. Once you're admitted, you will be asked to submit your official transcripts. We need your resume, your letter of recommendation. At least one of them should come from a working professional. Now, whether they have worked with you or not is not a problem, but they should be a working professional. And then a personal objective statement. It's like the essay, which talks about why this degree and how does this factor in your future. A one-page double-spaced essay should be good enough. We don't have application fee waivers unless you're part of certain organizations, and we'll put that link in the chat right away. In fact, I'll just pull that page up for a moment. All right. And we'll put this in the chat as well so that you have. And I do see a few questions coming in. That's great. Please feel free to put in more questions as you see. So this is for students who are applying for a PhD or a master's program, and it's only open to US citizens or permanent residents. But if you are part of any of these programs that are out there, and the link is in the chat, you can get an application fee waiver. So there are certain organizations, programs that are affiliated with UTD that we are able to provide waivers to. But as I said, only US citizens or PRs are eligible. So if you're an international student, this will not be applied to you. However, having said that, and we will talk about that in a moment, if you apply to another program at UTD later on, a certificate program, or you add an MBA later on, or another master's, you will never be asked to pay an application fee or any late fee, because once you're a student or an alum in the future, you don't have to pay those fees. So that's one benefit. But the first time when you're getting into UTD, there is the fee, and it's $50 for your application. $50 if you did your undergrad outside the US. So we do the foreign credentials evaluation ourselves. And in case if there's a late fee, you applied after the regular deadline, we still accept your application, but there will be a $75 late fee. Okay, scholarships. So scholarships, we need a separate application. If you're going to fall 24, the due date is May 1st for us to receive your scholarship application, which is separate, and your official GRE GMAT score. So if you went for a waiver, we won't be able to consider you for a scholarship just because we need a score, an official score. So the official score and your application, scholarship application, should have reached us by May 1st. The deadline is December 1st for spring 24. And as far as TA ships are concerned, we do offer TA ships, but not in the first semester. We want you to be here, show your academic capabilities, and then we will probably offer you a TA ship from maybe the second semester onwards. Again, it's not an academic award, it's a job. But once students are here, while you're in your first semester, you can apply for a TA ship in the second semester. Right now, all our fall 23 students, a lot of them are applying for spring 24 TA ships. So you can do that in your first semester. It's just that you'll have to wait until you complete your first semester to decide whether you should be a TA or not. However, if you get selected as a TA, yes, there is a monthly stipend of about $1,100, but on top of it, your health insurance is paid, which is about $1,400. And if you're an out-of-state student, you qualify for an in-state tuition benefit. Some stats about our internships, so our employers since 2018, some of the top employers, Ericsson, Copart, Lennox, AWS, FedEx, Southwest, SLO, these are always on the top in terms of hiring our students. You can see a variety of different titles. You're not just a data analyst, data scientist intern, data engineer, BI engineer, business analyst, marketing analytics intern. These are the different titles. So there's a plethora of different titles, jobs that our students go through. Some of the top industries, and this slide, I particularly focus on the fact that contrary to popular belief, IT firms are just a quarter of the rest of the industries in which our students get to work. So every industry, as we talked before, every industry is very digital. Digital means computers, that means applications, that means data, that means somebody who needs analytics. But if you want to see firsthand accounts of our students who are doing this, this is going to really help you. If you're on LinkedIn, just look for hashtag UTD MSBA. And when you do that, you will see that all these students, the kind of work they're doing, these are all first-hand accounts. First-hand accounts of what it takes to be in those companies, what is the kind of work they're doing. And it's not just their internships, they're participating in competitions, they're participating in events, they're doing so many different things that they're posting about that. These are first-hand, unmoderated accounts of students. Please go through these stories. Tomorrow, let's say you want to go and work for a certain company, and we have already had somebody do that. This is a great starting point for you. UTD is blessed to have more than 450 student organizations, and 75 of them are in the School of Management. Now, these student organizations that are listed are the ones where we see most of our students. The SAP Users Group, Salesforce, Project Management, Envision, Women in Technology, Toastmasters, Marketing Analytics, Accounting Analytics Club, Intelligent Analytics, Cybersecurity Club. Some of the larger chunk where our students are extremely active. But if you're here and you don't see an organization that appeals to you, and you have a great unique idea, you can start your own. But there are so many of them that you will definitely find something that fits your needs. Now, the bonus that I was talking about. So the bonus here is that you can also get a graduate certificate, which depending on your residency may cost you anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000. All you have to do is just take the set of courses that apply to that certificate. That'll give you credit towards your degree. It'll give you credit towards your certificate. You don't have to pay the tuition twice. You don't have to sit in those classes twice, but you will get 2 diplomas, one for that certificate and one for your degree. If you end up doing multiple certificates, you get multiple diplomas. All you have to make sure is these courses are taken and you have a 3.0 on those courses, your GPA. These courses are all part of the MSBA catalog. So it becomes very easy for students to not have to really go outside of the catalog and take courses, but you can do it within the program. And it counts for dual credit. But our direct contact details right here. Mrs. Leventhal, who's on the call with us, she's our program manager. I'm sure a lot of you have already spoken to her through email or individual calls, but between the two of us, we manage all the aspects of the program. Our emails are listed here, our phones are here. Emails are great. Both of us will respond to you as soon as possible, literally on the same day, to make sure that you have responses to your questions. Before I get into the questions, and please, if you have more questions, put them in the chat because we're going to jump into that section. I just want to share the catalog with you all, just to show you the breadth of it. I'm going to put that link in the chat as well so that we can all see it if you want it later. But we talked about the core classes, 18 credits. In 18 credits, you develop the ability to answer 4 important questions. What happened? Advanced stats. What will happen? Predictive analytics. What do you recommend? Prescriptive analytics. Does it make economic sense? Applied econ. And then we definitely take you through a database foundations class plus a modeling class where you learn different modeling techniques. You can pick and choose based on what your flavor is. We have the SaaS version. We have business analytics with R, or you can learn modeling using Python. But it creates a solid foundation for every student that irrespective of what kind of electives you choose, you know in great depth what analytics is. And the core classes really help you out with that. After that, we have the electives. And as I said, 74 unique courses spread across 10 different tracks. You can pick and choose how you want to use your 6 electives. You can take all the electives from one track. You can pick 6 different tracks and pick one course each. It's up to you, but all the different courses. The two of our most, I would say, popular tracks are data engineering and data science. Lots of courses out there for our students, but I have put the link in the chat. This would be a good exercise to see what's there in the program for you. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'll jump into your questions. Let's see. All right, I am looking at. All right, I think it's Rishi whose question I'm looking at here. One moment. How many electives can we choose and how many tracks can we choose? Just answer that question. You have 6 electives, and if you're pursuing an internship, that comes out of your electives bucket. So let's say you end up choosing 3 credits for your internship. The rest of the 15 credits that's out there for electives, you can choose 5 courses. And it's up to you how you want to mix and match. You will have more options than what you can choose. If in simple terms, I can say that. Edith, is the maximum 3? Can we submit up to 2? As I submitted only 2, the letter of recommendation. Okay, let me just help you with that particular, because 2 should be okay. And another thing is, if we need something from you, we will have it on your to-do list. To-do list is a great way for us to communicate with you as to what is needed. But so if you have 2, so the response about how many LORs are needed, this depends on your experience as well. So if applicants have 2 or more years of post-baccalaureate experience, you're only required to submit 1. So in simple words, if you have work experience of 2 years, 1 LOR will do. But if you don't have that, then we will need 3. And as I said, the professional LOR doesn't mean that you have to have worked with that person. It just has to be somebody who's a working professional. Okay. Is a CGPA of 2.6 accepted for MSBA? Well, again, there is no one thing that can decide whether you get admission or not. At UT Dallas, we look at every application very holistically. We look at every possible things that you have submitted. Now, if you feel that there is a certain area, for example, your GPA in this case is low, supply us with enough information that we can make a decision. Like, make sure that your letter of recommendation talks about some of the things that you have been doing. Your personal statement, your resume is detailed enough for us to do something. I would even say if you have a low CGPA, probably don't go for a waiver of GRE or GMAT. Submit a score, because that will somewhere help us determine your academic ability. Again, when we see somebody's GPA is low, we do go to the level of the courses and see what is it. Is it some type of courses that you struggle at, or is it a general thing? Because let's say there's a particular set of courses that you have to take as part of your undergrad degree, and those courses, yes, they are part of your degree, but they don't have a very strong relationship to MSBA. Your average performance in that will not really affect us. But if there are courses that are related to us and you've been doing very well with those courses, absolutely that helps. So there's no one way of looking at the GPA. Again, yes, it's a quantified score, it's one score, but the way we look at the GPA is very different. Okay, look at You mentioned average salary in your slide. Is that based on the last few years or just from the when the course was launched? Was there a rise or fall in salaries in the previous years in Texas or US? After getting accepted, okay. So I'll answer the first question. Likith, you're talking about the data. So this data is for ever since the program started. We started our program in 2014. And what we are seeing is, again, contrary to the kind of news that you're looking at, we have seen some years that were extremely good and they were like outliers. So I would say 2020, 19 to 21, we saw an inflation in the kind of salaries that people were getting. But then even after some correction that the market had, we didn't see a major drop in the salaries because number one, the skill set that our students have from the MSBA program is extremely specialized. Departments who are using these kind of practitioners are bound to keep their salaries up because they have to stay competitive in the market. Right now, then, as I said, there are not enough qualified professionals in the market who can do this. So our students have options to move around very easily. So what employers do is they make sure that their salaries are competitive and they stay on the higher side of things. In the last 2 years, and again, recently also when people would talk about that the market isn't very good, slowdowns are part of the American economy. Every 2 or 3 years it happens because these are corrections that the market sees. But even in years when there was a shock that the system experienced during COVID, we didn't see the salaries really dropping down at all. We would always see our students kind of yo-yoing between the 95 to 105, that range. And what we would also see is sometimes if, let's say, the base salary goes down, maybe a signing bonus or a bonus component gets added. So the overall compensation stays high. And I would not say that we have plateaued on this in terms of salaries. Again, when you're getting $100,000 and you're doing that consistently, you might feel it's plateaued. But the fact that 400 students graduated in spring of last year, 422 from our program, and we are still able to have those averages, as opposed to institutions which may have 20, 25 students graduating at one time. That speaks a lot about the kind of jobs that our students are getting, because despite the numbers, if we are able to keep the averages, that means that our students are getting good jobs. But the other factor that we have seen that affects these numbers is also the profile of our students. Now, what we have seen in the last few years is that, like 5 years ago, I would see that somebody who has at least 5 years of experience, 4 to 5 years of experience, would come to the program. Now we are seeing folks who are within the 0 to 3 year range of their work ex that they are coming to our program. Okay, and the number of folks who have no experience in the industry are also coming to our program. So of course that does affect the averages a little bit. As I said, if you have any experience that you bring into the program, your average package will be the simplest way to look at it is 100,000 plus $10,000 for each year. That's the kind of stuff we're seeing. And I mean, we didn't talk about our highest packages, but we see that people who may have spent 10, 12 years in the industry and are doing our degree, they are hitting $200,000 very easily. 200 to 250 is what we see for them. Good question. I thought I'll give some more perspective because, again, these are not numbers that you just calculate by some linear equation. They have variables in that we need to be aware of. All right, after getting accepted, how do we submit our original transcripts? So there are multiple ways. The easiest is, if your institution is fine with it, is Parchment. So this is it's like an online platform on which institutions are, and they exchange documents between themselves. True Copy is another such service. But if you want to just get attested copies, don't submit originals. We want attested copies that are in envelopes that are sealed and stamped on the seals. If you want to mail that to UT Dallas, that's acceptable. You want to bring those envelopes with yourself and just drop them in the admissions department, that's also acceptable, but they have to be attested copies. Another thing that you can do is you can have your institution email attested documents from their official ID to admission@utdallas.edu. It's admission, single word, singular. Is it mandatory to submit English proficiency test score as an international student, or will it be waived? Excellent question, Jackie. We have 46 countries that we have, and I'm going to put that link here. Requirements UTD. 46 countries that don't need to submit their TOEFL or IELTS or Duolingo, whatever score that is. I'm going to put that list right here, because what we do is, if the medium of instruction in your undergrad degree is English, we will waive it. And based on our research on which countries have that predominantly, we have figured out that there are 46 of them so far. So I'm going to put that link here in the chat. Of the countries from where we get students, a lot of students like India, we have an exemption. Wow, lots of good questions as I see there. Okay, Edith, I applied for the summer term. May I know when the final decision will be made? I am from Ghana and I'm in Malaysia right now. Edith, once your documents are received, once your application is received, officially it takes 4 to 6 weeks for us to render a decision, but our admissions team is really good. They've been turning around decisions within 2 to 3 weeks. So just keep an eye on your email, make sure that there are no to-dos, and we will be reaching out to you soon. Shruti, do students go on to continue as software developers in case they already have 5 years of software development? Well, it depends. If you're an international student and you want to pursue any job, irrespective of whichever degree program you are in, you need to show a connection between the courses that you have taken and the job you're going for. There is a requirement, even for internships that we approve, irrespective of whether you're an international student or a domestic student, you need to show that what you're working on is connected to the courses you have taken. So if, let's say, you have prior experience, you can't use that experience and say, well, I have prior experience, so I want to do this job. The reason for you to do this job is your current degree, the current coursework you're taking. Now, there are a lot of courses that we teach around software development. We go into the different vagaries of software development. When you think about areas like data science, for example, the machine learning side of things that we are doing. So whether it is applied machine learning, NLP, deep learning, and we are working on generative AI content, all of this has a lot of programming element. RPA, it's development, low-code development, but we teach that. So yeah, you can go into a software development job. I would say you should really think about why you want to do this degree. Don't just do this degree because there is a job after this. Everybody gets a job from somewhere. Think about what you want to do in this program, because some of the careers, you have to see what the progression of some of the careers is. When I think about software development, it's more expensive for me to have a programmer with 10 years of experience versus somebody who can just do it because it's costly. But when it comes to analytics, analytics has the longest life of all the programs, because whether you're an intern or a CEO, you require that skill set. So, but going to your question, a simple answer is yes, provided you can connect it back to the courses that you have taken at UTD. Okay, Deepthi, I'm on H4. Will I be provided I-20 for conversion to F1? Yes, you will be. You'll require that. I would say please reach out to ISSO prospective at utdallas.edu, and they should be able to help you out on that. We also have some resources available on our website that talks about the conversion. But yes, you will be given an I-20 for that. Thank you for asking. That's an important question. I know a lot of times we get H4 people who want to go for an F1 conversion. So don't worry, a lot of our students have done it. Even if you need support and you need some peer advice from somebody who's done it, we have enough people that we can connect you to. Jayant, how much is the tuition fee and how much scholarship can we expect from the university? Great question. So depending on your residency, depending on your number of credits that you're taking in a semester, your tuition can change. As I said, as the more credits you take in the flex program, your per credit hour rate goes down. And there's a cap at 12 credits. So credit number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 in that semester is going to be free for you. that can change the overall tuition that you pay. I would say, if I look at the best case scenario where you're getting all the scholarship and tuition support and this and that, we're looking at a range from about $40,000 to $65,000. No support, nothing. You're taking 3 courses a semester. That's about $65,000. We did a webinar. I'll put that in the chat. We did a webinar a few months ago where we talk about financial planning, and we talk about different scenarios that a student can go through as like full support to partial support to no support, and how can you pay for your tuition. As I said, most of our students who are doing internships, the average is about $30 an hour. That's significant pay. That really helps you pay your tuition well, keeps you comfortable as a student, and helps you a lot. As far as scholarships are concerned, if you end up getting a scholarship, and let's say that scholarship also gives you a tuition waiver, it's not full 100% waiver, but you get $1,000 as a discount and the ability to pay instead tuition rates. So let's say over 2 semesters, and this is if you get a fall scholarship, you get 2 semesters of benefit. You will be seeing, I would say, anywhere between $15,000 to $19,000 over one academic year that you save because of the scholarship. If you're applying for a spring scholarship, the tuition benefit will be for spring only, and then you can later apply for a fall scholarship again, provided you completed 12 credits by the end of spring. Deepti just answered that question, but if you want to look at our tuition on the program page, we do have a section dedicated for tuition as well. Okay. Can I postpone my accepted admit from spring to fall 24? Absolutely, you can do that. To do that, you'll have to just fill out a form, and it's a deferral form. There's no fee attached to it. I'm actually going to just respond to your comment here and give you the link. Fill that out. It will take about 10 days for them to respond. They generally do it in a few days also sometimes, but you can do that. You can defer once up to a year. So if you are in spring 24, the max you can do is spring of 25. But if you want to go to fall 24, absolutely, do. Arvind Giri, how is the work experience distribution of the students who are opting join the flex program? Well, again, as I said, the students who are the kind of experience that we see is still the average is between 3 to 4 years, but we are seeing, as our numbers are going up as well, we are seeing a rise in the population of students, number one, who have no experience. Number two, who have no experience with any of the CSIT type of jobs or even from training. They come from econ background or commerce or non-computer science IT backgrounds, but they're doing extremely well in the program because the thing is, the common denominator for every industry is analytics. So it's easy for people to relate to what they're learning in the program. Even though it's a bit quantitative, there is a relation to it, to any industry that they're coming from. See, we benefit a lot from having students with different experiences. People who have more experience bring in a different perspective. People who have no experience also bring in a very unique, special perspective that we need in the class. And we have people from all different types of backgrounds. That enriches your experience in terms of what really analytics can do. Analytics is not one thing. It's a mix of a lot of different things. And we want you, when you sit in a class, you sit with a group of students who bring those different tangents to you that enriches you. So that's the whole, I would say, the philosophy of the program in terms of how we admit students. Prem, can you let us know about the essay required? Yes, so personal objective statement, 1 page, double spaced. All we need is, and because I'm seeing a lot of questions around requirements, and the link was there in the slide, but I'm going to just put it here in the chat so that you all have access to it directly. Okay, so 1 page, double spaced, what to write there, tell us why this degree and how does it factor in your future. We need just that clarity from you. You want to make sure you're making the right decision, and your essay helps us understand that. Can you provide the approximate cost? I think we just discussed it, so I'm going to skip that question, Drashti. Prem, what types of essay and word limit? 1 page, double spaced? 12 point. And if you go beyond a page, don't worry, but don't go into several pages. If it's one page and another page, it's okay. Lakaraju, I got my I-20 for spring 24 and applied for a scholarship on 26 September. May I know when I can expect? So our committee is meeting in the next few weeks. And again, what we do is we roll out decisions, not in one shot, it's on a rolling basis. Okay, so every now and then when the committee meets, they decide, okay, who's the one that we need to give scholarships out to? And if you don't get it, we don't deny your application, we put you back into the pool. And then the next time when the committee meets, at that time we evaluate you again. Sometimes it takes people a couple of times before they really are able to get a scholarship. Judith, I did see your hand. I will get back to you in a moment. Okay, so Surad, this is, I'm a life sciences student with a 4-year experience and I'm eager to change my domain to business administration or analytics. Am I eligible to apply for UTD? I haven't given my GRE. Please let me know the probability of accepting, as I'm very enthusiastic to get into UTD because there's a wide range of. Absolutely. And Sonat, based on what you just told us that you are a life sciences student, absolutely. We are also excited because, as I just mentioned, there is no one walk of life that we want in our program. We want people from different backgrounds, different areas, different places. All your profiles are unique, and that adds a lot of value to our program, not just to you, to our program, to our students, to our student body. So absolutely, what I would recommend is go ahead, send us an application. And we've had students, from similar backgrounds in the past as well. You do have 4 years of experience, so that will count positively towards your application. But I would go ahead and I would recommend that you apply. Jayant, I'm currently pursuing Masters in Marketing. Will I need to submit my GRE score when I'm applying to UTD? Now, that depends. If you've already submitted a score, and when you say Masters in Marketing, is this at UTD? You can just respond in the chat or something. If you're doing this at UTD, just need to reach out to advising and they will add in a second Masters. But since you're pursuing your Masters, there might be a possibility that we can look at what you have done so far in your Masters and maybe your GRE for you. So send an application and send a request for a waiver if you want that waiver. Okay, Sana, between the GRE and GPA, is there one that matters more if you have lower GRE and a high GPA? Again, there is no one way to look at it. When somebody says we don't have a good GPA, we look at, okay, what caused the GPA to go down? Was it a certain set of courses? Was it a bad semester or a couple semesters or a bad year or so? See, life can take a lot of turns and a lot of times it's not in your control. But we don't want to penalize you for something that was not in your control. Now, if you were not doing well and you consistently had low grades, that is something that tells us, at that point of time, we will have to look at differently. At the same time, let's say you have a very low GPA, you've consistently performed poorly, and then suddenly there's a very high GRE score. That also doesn't guarantee admission, because what was happening during your undergrad degree that suddenly it changed into a stellar GRE. So we look at everything very holistically. There's no one thing that will help your application. There is no one thing that will deny your application. So don't worry about that. But if you feel that there are certain sections of your application that might not have the same strength, try to give us more information, as much as information possible, so that we can use all of that to make a determination. What's the class size for on-campus and distribution of residents and non-resident students? Well, again, most of the students who are in the full-time program are full-time students. I would say about 20-25% of our students are residents who are here. The size depends on the course. If it's a core class, we generally see 50 to 60 students in a class. If it's an elective, depending on how popular the elective is, we might even see 60. But I would say it goes between 25 to 60 students, depending on the course. How has the hiring been so far for our students? The situation is a little tight. To be honest, here's the thing. The point of view from where you look at hiring, for example, I and Mrs. Leventhal, we look at people who are applying for internships. They are trying to get credit for it. We're approving like 20 of them in a week. That's a very healthy number, and that's just one program. So depending on who you end up talking to, there are students who've got stellar offers, and a lot of them. And there are students who it took them a little time, but they ended up getting it. See, one of the things, and this is my own personal experience. In a great market, you might not get a job. In a bad market, you will have a job right after your graduation. So it really doesn't depend on how the market is. The market always is like this. It boils down to what the student is doing in terms of getting those jobs. Now we have students, who are struggling to get internships, and yet we have students who are cracking $60 an hour. That's like $120,000 a year, just as an intern. So it really boils down to what an individual is doing. And that's the key to know here when you're pursuing a degree program in the US, that your environmental situations are not going to impact you much. What will really impact you is what you are doing to change them. And we have lots of students who are very successful. So, and the ones who don't do it, we try to help them as much as we can. See, at the end of the day, we want every student of ours to be successful. So, but we see that the ones who understand our advice and are able to take action on it are the ones who have to struggle lesser than the others. But at the end of the day, everybody gets a job. That's a given. We have never seen somebody who said, well, I have no job, so I'm going to just go away. Look, I'm an international student. Are there any student groups which I can search for housing? Absolutely. Look for the Indian Students Association. It is the largest student group on campus in terms of student organization. They do a fantastic job in terms of right from picking students from the airport to getting them into accommodations and all, getting their utilities set up. The Indian Students Association, look for them and connect with them. If you don't find them, you have troubles, just shoot me an email and I'll connect you. I'm the faculty advisor as well for the ISS, so I kind of know what they're doing. Okay, can I submit in the last 2 minutes, I'll try to get to the end as soon as I can. Can I submit my application and within a week or 10 days later, can I submit a GRE? Absolutely, you can do that. Absolutely. When you submit an application, it's not like that 100% of the times you have submitted everything. And the system recognizes what's missing. They will put it on your to-do, but if you submit a GRE score later, acceptable. Does backlogs affect admissions? Well, we really don't look at that critically. Backlogs can happen, but what have you done to get out of it is more important to us rather than you having a backlog. Can you recommend some programming courses which will be extremely helpful to be in the top 1% of the degree? Well, I'll remove the percentage to be and the word top, I'll say to be comfortable. There is emphasis on Python, R, and SQL. If you have basics of these three in hand before you come to UTD, you will have a head start than the rest. Python, R, and SQL. When can we start signing up for classes? So this, you should be seeing emails sent to you about advising, orientations, registration. We are having a few of them next week, and from November, it will open up. You will see on your Orion, there is a appointment that will start. That means that appointment date, it's just a 10-minute slot, but it doesn't mean you have to register for classes in 10 minutes. That's when your appointments can begin. And you can enroll for classes all the way until the start of classes. When will the result of the scholarship be announced? I answered that. On what basis that. So again, we look at everything in your profile, your academic performance, if you have work experience, what that looks like. So there are, just like your admission application, we look at your scholarship application as well. One of the things is we try to see if this student is afforded a scholarship, what is the best way that they can use this. So we read your essays again, the committee reads through those essays and finds out what exactly are your plans to do with your degree? And depending on the pool, that can change from semester to semester, but they make determinations. What's the final day to apply for fall 24? So the regular deadline is, for fall 24, my apologies. The regular deadline is May 1st, but you can apply from mid-November all the way to May 1st. That's regular. If you miss the May 1st deadline and you still submit an application and you go all the way up to August 15th, you'll just have to pay $75 of late fee, but we will take care of this. Jadis, you mentioned it needs only one if you have 2 years of experience. In my case, got 1 year experience plus 1.2 years full time. Okay. I think you should go, your internship will also count. So go ahead and just submit your one LOR for now. If we need more, we'll reach out to you. Look at, are there any benefits to applying for scholarships early? Or would it be the same? See, again, if you have applied early and this committee meets and they find you acceptable, they will give it to you. But if you wait until the very last moment, irrespective of how good your profile is, you might not have the ability to get a scholarship because we may have given out everything possible for that semester. All right, the last 4 questions that I'm going to take until Deepti's question about the H4. I've completed 3 years BBA and currently doing MCOM, which will be completed in 2024. That is starting before my MSBA. I may receive results. So again, any program that you're doing, Prem, needs to be completed before you start another program at UT Dallas. So if you can take care of that, that's it. Now students, sometimes they finish their programs in say June and in August they join us. They have provisional documents that tell us how they have done and we will evaluate it. But you can't have an ongoing program at one place and then start another one here. What's the minimum time required to complete? 1 year. I've already accepted the offer, so how to process with the visa, I-20. So I'm gonna give you a link to receive your I-20. You can go ahead and use that information. Final date to apply for fall 24, we just discussed that May 1st is the regular deadline, but we'll accept late applications until August 15th, $75 and more. Okay, Shri Janani, I'll take yours here. The last one, okay, before that, Deepti's question, should we travel out of US to get F1? Again, that depends on what the latest regulations are. Do they allow stamping within the US? I would say either reach out to our international students office or talk to an immigration attorney as to whether you need to travel out or not. When applying for fall 24 intake, the MSBA, what are the chances of receiving scholarship? I apply by mid or late. Oh, that's a good time. You're not too late then. Most of our scholarship decisions, we start rolling them out in early January for fall. So you should be good with that time period. Okay, that was good. We did come to the end of this session here. Again, the recording of this will be posted on our YouTube channel. But if you have questions, our email addresses, I'm just going to put that there so that you can send it to the program msbohan@utdallas.edu. And we look forward to absolutely help you. Edith, you can join it, but I'm not the president. There are students who are the president. I'm just a faculty advisor for the association. But yes, you can do that. You can go to lots of different organizations that are out there. I see. Okay, Shreya, just give me a moment. Let me see if I can get you a link. For some reason, I thought that was available. Okay, joining. Maybe this link can help you. The Spring 24, we're still in the process of evaluating it, and we will be rolling out decisions soon. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your Friday and have a good weekend. And we look forward to seeing you at UT Dallas soon. All right. Bye-bye.